Welcome back to Tampa Bay's Morning Blend. Well, over the last weekend, summer officially arrived here in Tampa Bay, even though it feels like it's been this way for a while. However, this is a very important time for parents to take notes when it comes to online predators for their kids. That's why we've invited the Hillsborough State Attorney, Andrew Warren, to our show today to talk about some summer safety tips that we all need to keep in mind. Welcome to the show, Andrew. How are you today?
I'm good, Natalie. Thanks for having me.
I know this is a little personal for you, too. I'm seeing some unicorns behind you there in your shot. So I think that gives us an example of why it is important. It looks like you've got some kids of your own.
I do indeed, a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old, and they've been spending more time online, just like I think all of our kids over the past few months.
Well, it has. It's definitely changed given the pandemic. They need to spend time online because of all the schoolwork that happened in the past school year. But still, there are some things that people need to keep in mind. Have you been talking with law enforcement? Are we seeing an uptick when it comes to cases and people filing that their child may be targeted for online predators?
Yeah, there has been an uptick, and it makes sense. I mean, now that summer has started, it's supposed to be a great time to kick back and relax and have kids at camp, vacations for families. But the reality is, because of the pandemic, we know that camps are limited, parents are stretched thin, kids are spending more time online. And this creates, unfortunately, a perfect storm for sexual predators to try to reach out and exploit kids over the internet.
Oh, okay. So as we're taking a look at, of course, family there, let's talk about some secure tips. What can parents do? Because we've obviously addressed the situation. Now let's move forward to make sure our kids aren't the target. What can we do to fight back and educate our kids?
Well, there are 3 basic things that we should be doing. The first is make sure to talk to your kids. Your kids should understand that there are people online who may not, who may be looking to hurt them. And of course, that needs to be an age-appropriate conversation for kids. But the idea is to let kids know that they need to be aware of who they're talking with online. The second step is parents should be reviewing what kids are sharing. They should have access to the kids' apps and check in from time to time to make sure that, the wrong people aren't reaching out to kids and knowing what kids are sharing. And the third point, of course, is that there are parental controls that parents should be implementing on the kids' devices, making sure that they're limiting access, even limiting the time. I mean, these are 3 simple steps that are going to make it so that it's less likely that any of our kids become victimized. But again, the first thing and the most important one is the number 1 step. Just talk to your kids.
Well, let's talk about that. You mentioned having age-appropriate conversations. I mean, I'm kind of one of those parents that's like, okay, my daughter's 3. I want to go ahead and bring it up now and be like, stay away from online predators. But obviously, that's not going to make the most sense. What are some tips do you have to keep it age-appropriate?
I mean, depending on the kid's age, you're right, Natalie, 3 is probably too young. But with my 9-year-old, for example, we don't get into the fact that they're sexual predators online. But we talk to her about the fact that there are people online sometimes who aren't kids, who are maybe looking to get information or do bad things and reach people. And it's just stranger danger for a 9-year-old. It's know who you're talking to and know that sometimes the people who you think you're talking to aren't exactly who you are talking to. For older kids, it can be a more direct conversation about sexual predators. But really, it's an age-appropriate conversation. There are lots of resources online to help parents with having this uncomfortable conversation, but the key is to have it. We want to make sure that parents know they should be talking to their kids about the dangers that exist online.
And then that third tip to that, those parental tools that people can implement onto their devices and things. I need to spend some time learning how to actually operate that. So I'm just going to throw that out there because those tools are there. Companies are trying to make it easier, it seems, to be able to instill that.
That's right. Most of these apps, I don't even know all the ones that kids are using today. We have Facebook and, of course, but now there's Instagram and Twitch and TikTok. And
all over my head.
I got a few of them, right? And these platforms do have security settings where parents can set the time that kids are on it. Mm-hmm. They can control who is reaching out to kids and who the kids are talking to. But again, it goes back to the second step too. Parents should be actually looking at who their kids are communicating with, should have those passwords that they can see. there was a horrible story that came out. It was pre-pandemic at the end of last year about a parent who found out that, there were bestiality pictures being sent, to their young child from someone online. And that's obviously an extreme example, but just having the parents check in from time to time on what kids are actually receiving and sending is a great step to protect your kids.
You know what, Andrew, we spend so much time talking about the fun stuff that kids get to do in the summer. This is just as important, if not more so. So thank you for your time. I'm glad to talk with you. I hope you join us again here on The Blend too.
Thank you. Have a great summer, everyone, and a safe one.
A safe one is the key, Andrew. Thanks again. And we hope you at home maybe take a note if you're a parent. And regardless, parent or not, we hope you stay right there because the show continues after the break.